Fabadimu, the advocate of Idlozi, and I welcome you to my channel and thank you so much for choosing to view this video. Well, welcome to almost to what is end of the year, and it has been a long road actually between now and 2020, actually 2019. It has been a very turbulent time, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And if you're watching this, well, you've made it, it has been storm upon storm upon storm. Now it's just about looking onto the horizon and focusing on what lies ahead, and have our expectations be broadened by all that we desire. So I'm here today actually because I thought we almost reaching the end of the year, and there must be that end of year fatigue. All of us must be experiencing that. I haven't even had time to do anything. I've been busy with work, didn't even do my nails, no lashes. I'm looking as crusty as ever, but the work continues. But I thought that I'm gonna dedicate the last few videos until we close office, because I'm going to be closing on the 28th. But I'm going to dedicate this week to just share a bit of my story, and if not overlapped to the coming week, but probably before we close office, I should be done with unpacking what I wanted to. So as Isangoma, you often judged by the community. It's like you don't exist, you this creature from planet Mars or something. And we often get these tricky questions, but sometimes people forget that before Ngivumubis or before Ngiba Isangoma, I was just a general human being, just like you and I didn't know that at some point I would end up where I am. And so that is why I decided to let me tell my story a bit, especially about my journey. How far did I come? With my first videos, I did actually try and touch on that, but I think right now we have grown and matured so much. So I thought, let me just start from the beginning. So it's gonna be a series of videos that are gonna follow each other and unpack everything until to where we are today. But every video, everything that comes on this channel always has a lesson behind. So whatever you're going to take from my story, take it and run with it and learn from my mistakes, and make sure that you don't go through the same things that I went through out of ignorance. So I hope you're going to enjoy these couple of videos coming. But before we begin, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for actually your failing support towards this channel. The growth that we are facing is just beautiful, and I welcome all the new subscribers. And I'm nothing but a lover. My love language is affection, and but every time I just feel the love that I receive, honestly, I just want to come here and make more content. So thank you so much for being original, for being true to yourself, for being true to your journeys, for being true to who you actually see yourself as, and for actually picking parts of yourself from me, and relating and actually taking those pieces with you so that your journey becomes just a little bit easier. So while I grab a drink, go get yourself something to drink as well. Well, I was born on the 9th of August, Women's Day, 1994. I am the second born between my mother and dad, and I am the third born between my dad and dad. I'm just kidding, but I have two stepbrothers, and between my mom's and dad's marriage, I am the second born. So I'm the only girl amongst the thorns, and but I've gotten very closer to my brother, of which previously in the years, we were living separately because my parents had divorced. And I do not necessarily have much of a memory of my childhood. The only part that I can tell you about is me going through ikreshi. I remember there was this one moment in ikreshi because I was staying with my dad. When my parents divorced, I cried and I went to live with my dad, of which my dad moved back to Egibo and my mom was left with the house because it was hers after all. So my dad went back home and I went back to him. So we're living in a house whereby there was, you know, close to 10 of us, and Masfiga, it was a 4-room house, 10, 12, you know, if I'm not mistaken. And Masfiga, I remember, I think we were the 12, right? And Vislala Panti, a dining room, emasofeni, sindlala ibonjile zamasofa phansi silala lapho, and we slept there for like a good year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or a few months, but it was a lengthy period because my dad had no bedroom, and obviously you know, there had to be some form of accommodation. So beklala makazini or auntie bami ugogo wami bekanabantwana abaningi. So it was those situation ekhaya ngikhula bekuthengisa amagwinya. It was those vibes. Bekuyishop, if people know bazowazi bekamandiza eDavidson. And my cousin, that place was known for amagwinya sekhaya. So that's the type of environment I grew up in. But I don't have much recollection of my childhood before then. But the only thing I recall is that part because ngange crash and there was no time for hairstyle. So and that first day in crash, kids laughed at me, but it is what it is. So I went to Tabong preschool or something along those. It's pre what, but it's pre something, and it was beautiful times. You know, I got to hang around with other kids. It was one of those, you know, situations that were there. And even with the crest being attended, because bekhona enge bathi ikse because bongeni chase bese masuke chase hambu yofunde Tabong. So nase chase, the only, you know, picture I have of a chase is the part where ngakaka crashed. I like angazi indaba emakeke nje yangilandelela ngazimoshela and bangihleka bangifaka indishini, and everyone lapha crash round abo member, like they call the kids that's what they would do to you if uzmoshel or something along those lines. I honestly don't know what happened around that situation. So those are the recollections I have. And bangihleka and kwakufundisa omunye umistress nini lo mistress she passed on, but bekathanda ukuphi igusha la entameni. I don't know what happened to her. And ngaye Tabong sadansa kwaba mnandi, besidansiswa omunye ubaba kuthiwa uBratsotsi. It was fun times. And then at Tabong, those were that was the creche, or rather the preschool, that actually introduced our parents to actually taking us, you know, to multiracial schools. So Benoni Junior was what was on the plate, I remember, and my parents were excited and they jumped at the opportunity. But before all of those things, it was neither here nor there, because I remember Ekaya, like my home right now, I would see things, especially around the gate, you know. I would see a man that had no face, but I would see a hat and I would see a jersey, and it is like when my dad had. And every time I would see that man, I would just scream, because but it got to a point whereby saying stove and etc, and it was just bad, because they would, like, I would go crazy. I would go crazy. So it was just one of those situations. So I think one of those things that also led, because even on that, you know, situation, I'm nganga understanding what was happening, you know. And then until I left and with my dad, and Lapo, I was being Singfunde Tabong, and then we were introduced to Benoni Junior. And then from Benoni Junior, I advanced to Benoni West, because those were primary schools that were together. So Benoni Junior was grade 1 till 3, and then Benoni West was grade 4 until 7. So I went around and visited my old school. So here's a clip. Bukelani. So I'm here at my primary school. This is Benoni Junior Primary School, and I did my grade 1, grade 2, and my grade 3 here. So basically, this school has been a very great part of my life. Although I have very, distant memories, and some memories that I have of the school are not very, nice. So I'll take you through a bit of them. So as you can see, this is the whole school, but these classes that we're seeing right here, growing up, I used to see kids. This part was not here, but even as I'm standing right here, I feel someone is looking at me, an old friend. So I was not very fond of the school, but one thing that used to torment me was this area right here. I would always get dreams of amanzi ngilana and kusukume nomnikazi wamanzi. So crazy enough, I went on the internet and I checked yonke le ndawo le, this that you see as houses now, bekwa amanzi, and kwawela ibhasi la, abantu, they drowned, something along those lines. But all of this was water. So I'm not feeling very well. Visiting my primary school, it's just giving me the goosebumps, because that is when I think a lot of things started happening around my life. That's when I started realizing that I'm gifted. This area right here torments me till today. But this is my school, and I was a prefect here, and after I completed here, I went to the school next door, which is Benoni West. This school played a very vital... I'm not feeling very well, but I will take you around so you can see that. But my classrooms, I ended up being on the higher end. Those were my classrooms, but I'm not happy. You see these old classes I showed you? There is spirit there, and I'm not happy. So we're gonna go all the way around so you can see all of this, but I'm feeling very crazy. I'm feeling very, yeah. So this used to be our playground. I forgot to show you, but I never played up to here, this portion, because all of this was not here. It was just trees, and all this was not here. I mean, I left this place around 2003, so all of this was not here. But all of these trees were here, but I would never play towards here because I feared this area. I didn't like this area. But I'll just take you up the street so you can see what I'm talking about. I won't walk up all the way. I'll just drive around because I don't want to attract unnecessary attention. I do not like it. I still feel otherwise. All of this is both the schools there and all the way there. All the schools, they are together, but I don't like this area, guys. This area, all of this. I'm not feeling well. Okay, I'll just take a drive around so you can see. My heart is beating. There is energy here, and at the time my heart is beating so fast. The time I was doing my primary here, the spirits that I would encounter, especially in the toilets, were of younger kids. But now what I'm seeing is adults, white adults. There is someone in the gosh, we're not here for that, but I was just trying to show you that actually schools and malls harbor the most energies, and it's very painful when you are gifted like me, or you're raising a gifted child, or your child is gifted, because they go through this. There is yeah, my old school. So yeah, I've never been here. I think the last time I was here, it was ages ago because I was just terrified, you know. I never really thought of myself of coming back, and I wasn't really sure of what's going on. And I dreaded the school hall. This is the school hall. Um, this was my first classroom when I entered the school. But Lamatlas Langa, I just have bad memories of them. I just have bad, but I didn't know how to speak. That's the hole right there. Hi, but imagine how old this is. So empty spaces harbor spirits. So I'll take you around the school and then we'll take it there one day at a time. See you just now. Okay, fam. So we here. This is Benoni West. So as you will see, as I was driving up, both these schools are separated by a fence. So when you complete that side, you come all the way this side. And there's a swimming pool, I think, on both sides. And Zihlangene. I'm not a school person in terms of the energies. But this is where all the magic happened, and was the main entrance. Ah, okay. This is the main entrance. So you go in there, we'd host our assemblies there, and my class is lower. But I don't have much, you know, yeah, memory. School was just school, man, for me. But it was the recurring dreams that would torment me all the time. It was the recurring dreams that would torment me. These are the bathrooms, and nangala, I'm a toilet, but I am not that person. So, but all the memory that I remember is that Benoni West, I was teased a lot. Benoni Junior was better, but Benoni West, it was worse. The teasing was just out of this world. Like, it was bad. I was being teased for my appearance. I was just, the ugly duckling while my friends were, yeah, it was just that. Well, as you saw from the clip, Benoni Junior, I was doing at Sedford, and I think that's where the confidence started peaking a bit, because that's when I started understanding myself. I remember the first day at school. Azange in Kale, but I was excited to see a white teacher. I was excited for the environment. Didn't know that I wasn't that fluent in English, but because I was a smart kid, I just flew. I just flew. I was very, very smart. Could recite a book filled with stories. Poetry. I was that kid. I was doing choir. I was doing poetry. Yeah, I stayed fit. I was that kid, I was just everywhere. And I was actually trying to get to understand myself as a young, very young woman. And little did I know that, life will align itself the way it is destined to align itself. And being at that school in that area, it was a connection, or rather a link, that was going to rather open my spiritual journey. So I was not aware, because I would see things, especially in the corridors of Skolweni, on instances whereby I'm a transport Shia, as you can see, it still gives me goosebumps. But that particular area I was referring to in the video, every time I would have a recurring dream about that area in Amanzi, all water, all that area, because la where the school starts going down, it's sort of like a downhill situation. So I would dream of all of that place being just crystal blue water, and from the water would emerge, this enormous, majestic, being from the water. And every time I would try run for my life, sometimes I would be swimming, sometimes it would always be those dreams, but I wouldn't necessarily understand why, but I didn't even speak about it, and bengiyisaba leya ndawo leya, to that extent, even nasesikolweni, with the things I would see, I wouldn't understand. So ngikhulele esontweni ekhayeni whereby ugogo nabababa and etc bekusontwa kamdise IPC. So I would tell them that these are things that I'm feeling at school, these are things that I'm seeing, and ugogo would just bebangcobisa extra Vaseline, because bekune Vaseline episode, so you can imagine the Vaseline I would put on my skin just to protect my eyes, and my pencil case was full of itika zakamdise, my ruler was irula yasesilo, yase IPC, everything of mine. And it was so awkward, because when the other kids would ask me, who is this on your pencil case, I'd say, it's my dad. And at that time I know very well that who this is. So because we are taught at the church, or whatever the case might be, I would just go home, tell my gogo, and she would say, hi, bayacha kanti ngiyacha ivaselina kusha mina, because, well, me myself nje ngaleyo minyaka leyo, I looked very different, I looked ngagimncane, I was not, but and I was often being sidelined in terms of school. I was that kid, makuthatha ama class photos ngibekwe emuva. I was that kid that was often, it was just those situations. And I thought maybe I'm fixing the situations by actually speaking ekhaya, until I moved to Benoni West. Benoni West, I was now a bit more matured, and I kind of knew like wrong from right, but I was still the black sheep esikolweni. No guys were hitting on me. I was tomboyish. I was, that girl. And cat, those that know me, they will know. And I tried to so much be stylish, but that was just not me. There were prettier girls than me at school, but I just felt that I'm fit to league. That time being signs the escalizo cats being to me velingayo being hanjiswa baba mnyenza ka Roberts abamasi Roberts bazokutshela lapha ngase eDavidson Mall ngale movie Bahrain. So Benoni West, that's when like nga developer started going on my periods and everything in between, and the inclination was there, but not as much as heavy, because izinto bengizifila. But inkinga yami would be the toilets and the extramural activities that required me to stay in the school, because I had a problem with swimming lessons. The fellow students bebabona just normal water, but mina, I would see this image that I see in my dreams, and it would just trigger me, because we are in the same area, and it was just bad. I've never drowned, but thank God, for our ET teachers, PT actually, they would actually PE. It is PE, physical education. Yeah, PE. They were actually good. But amongst everything, I think these schools shaped, the type of person I am. Back then, I was just Michelle, because they shaped a lot, they shaped a lot in terms of who I am myself. They just shaped me, even ngendlela engikhuluma ngayo, debates, public speaking also does shape you as a person. So I think these schools played a very vital role in my life, and I'm thankful for my teachers, every one of them. There's the only sad part I remember. Going to Benoni West, and bekungena lama bag lawa, these trolley bags, and I was so obsessed. I was like to my dad, I need this bag. And Duguyani, my dad bought me the bag. Mangabuya kanti was in a traveling bag. So that day as in a traveling bag, leyo uze nebhegi yami kumele ngihambe ngiyoflasha ngayo siyajuyisha esikoleni sigcoka i-CVs. So kwakuvula amatshe the previous months amatshe kamkhulu wami, so umama wangithengela i-fishnet nelinye ihilinyana elingaka ne-skate sakhona ne-shirt ne-jacket. So I wore that outfit zamelana nebhegi yakhona yabo kusesenzela amafoni ama-Bosch. So ngangi-stylish ngidonsa leyo traveling bag. Azange ngahlekwa kanje esikolweni kuthiwa which flight am I catching. At that time I think I was in grade 4 or 5 and to all those kids that were mean to me, because majority of them, funny enough, abanye babo ended up being clients to me, because abanye babo abasangirecognize akere kuboyela rintsitse byanong ke le ka kreya kubo engwe jalo ka yeah, you kind of get what I mean. So bebangaboni ukuthi woo, like it's you Michelle, but you woo, I couldn't even recognize you, you know. They were just drawn by this poverty, you know, situation, you know, not a low self-esteem, but being inobu, you know, and that caused me to be so much of an introvert and be shy. And that also escalated, you know. I tried to play sport like netball. I was participating, you know, but I was not that girl or popular because of her looks. I remember we went to some camp and they were taking pictures of us. And because la ngihlala khona akufakwa cici because of the church rules, our pictures were reflecting, and all the other kids' pictures are coming through. Everyone was like, huh? And then my picture came forth, me nge-eskelam neskipa sami esipinki esinekhola emhlophe ngiyadla lapha ngiphethe i-letters. When my picture yavela, everyone was just, my friends were like, but I just felt that I saw looking at myself in that picture, I knew that something is wrong. I'm a girl, why do I look like that? I looked so, bengazijabulelanga nami. That's when I decided to now start ngigcobisa my lemon light, my pawns, be like the other girls, ngifaka amacici, you know, because ngangizifakile ivaseline yase-IPC and ngiphume ngihambe ngithi va ilontoza ijeli yami and just go about life. But I think that picture was a reflection. You know, I needed to see the man in the mirror, the woman, man, and yeah, whatever. So yeah, so I was that, you know, kid, even with the type of friends I had, you know. So it led, but what really altered things was that not far from my school there was a mall down there, ne? There's a mall, and Leo Mole is situated, everything around the mall leading to the next town around the mall, it is water. It dam cool, like, you know, amanzi amakhulu, you know, it's just a lot. And you would hear stories ekhaya baxoxa ukuthi yeah, you know, kunenyoka laphayana, and njalo le nyoka le bayithilela ama-coin and ibambele that mall, Lakeside Mall to be particular. And then I think that's when things turned. I started having dreams of from that majestic, you know, creature I was seeing, it turned to this dark creature, two-headed, big heads, you know, amakhala avuleke so, breathing fire, something like ama nostrils, big eyes, big, huge, humongous. And that time I'm still in my grade 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, Konalapo, and no, I think it was grade 6. Yeah, I was now basing on that Epidoni West. It was bad because every time I would dream of akwatile, you know, akwatile, umzala aphuma lapha phakathi kwaleya mola ibhidliza, and in the dream it would appear as a boat, but ayibhidliza angene kuma-escalator angifuna lana. And it would happen every time when I'm trying to step foot in the mall. Sometimes it would be so crazy that magnetile lapha, the water normally floods around the area, around that McDonald's area, begeza kimi and tell me that it's going to flood in the dreams. I remember there was a day, it was bad weather, and we were after playing netball, and we went there, passed through the mall because and the weather had changed. I literally felt that building shaking. I honestly. And kwacima malaiti, amanzi afladile at the lower parking. If people could remember that instant, bantu bese bayisaba that more because of indaba yamanzi. You would hear stories bathi kuwela omunye umntana omlungu bamthola tanta because umnikazi loyo udla ubuchopho babantu. But I would avoid the mall, especially the public restroom, like a toilet, because bengifila ngathi toilets carry energies. And if you, I was young, but being alone until I had an encounter that changed my life for the worst and the best. We were from a netball, Max is in the Milky Lane by the mall. So as we were chilling there, and a beautiful woman, gosh, mhlambe like imungena ka 8 million. A beautiful, pale-toned woman. She had beautiful, luxurious black hair. She wore this, but it was not that. But it was just a flowy thing, you know, like a flowy thing embellished with gold, something like these things that are on my head. And she came from the direction. I don't use that bathroom by that direction. She came from that direction. And as she was coming from that direction, obviously that attention, you know, and immediately when I turned, we locked eyes, Mina and this lady. And I thought maybe it's just one of those nice, you know, Nassau people, you know. And she came straight to us. And she had this gownish thing that she had. She's strong, like she just glide or she glowed. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words, but I'll never forget that experience. She came straight to the table where we're at. I remember ice cream and we're not having enough money. And I didn't have, you know, honestly, because I don't know, they had a way of bullying me. But she came straight to our table and she greeted and she said, "Hi, you know how, hi, how are you?" And she put her left hand on the shoulder of mine because my school bag in my school uniform, and she just her right hand, it just slid onto the table we're at, and my isandla sakhe masidlala kanje onto the table. 5 rand coins. Angithi we could not see her hand because ufake this flowy, you know, thing. 5 rand coins. Amanye hour. Everyone that was in the store, I don't know if they saw what happened, but my friends, they rushed batopala coin, and she just, you know, washialoma coin lao. And while we were still fiddling, trying to get the money because it was just so much coins. Nelly M is Nelson Mandela, guys. If M, and gosh, that woman, and she didn't even say bye. She didn't even say anything. As that warmth I felt touched me, she just walked and glowed, while across the mall, and wayophelela kuleya entrance because ngabheka ngumangazokuthi why lo muntu ngazisipha amacoin kanje siyatshontsha or in. And we bought the ice cream and we shared the money amongst us because I think it was about 140 something, 140 if I'm not mistaken, because I said it was just 5 rand coins. And on the way, I couldn't stop thinking about this. I went home and I told my granny, Gogo, yazi bengisemall ABCAZYK. My ngimthola ugogo amabonda ipapa, and ugogo like yo besihlayisile ipapa namaqanda ekhaya as much as big shop, but situation. She dropped lelo phini lepapa. Wathi yewena hlala phansi, akusafuna ukubona uya laphayana futhi uzolahleka ngazi ukuthi nguphi ngizothini mina kumamakho. What am I going to say to your mother? What am I going to say to your mother? For those who don't understand Zulu, what am I going to say? But what? And I just said they're like Maragoko. She asked me where those 5 rand coin, and I said no Swahili, and I knew deep down that it was still my bag. And she just froze. She was, I think, frustrated amongst everything else. And she told my dad and she told my uncles and Bang Bambela, a full small family meeting. And they were like, they don't want me to attend extramural activities, and etc. But they never said anything to me. And I honestly thought that was gonna, it didn't change. Then the dreams, the repetitive dreams, instead now of always I'm dreaming of there would be this comedy, and there would be this, always I'm in that space, I'm in that mall. In the mall, it was a wooden floor, and then closer to the end of the edge of the building, then it was a huge window. Then you were able to see Amanzi Wonge as it is, and every time I would pass that spot, my knees would wobble, because in the dream I had dreamed of that particular level. Those planks popping, and I was just disappeared with until never seen. So it was just scary. It was scary for me, but as old as I am, I respect izinto eslangene with the majestics of the water, because I relate, I don't like talking about this, Mara, it is a part of my journey, because we always say we dream about XYZ, but I'm just trying to reiterate a story to you. Akusinte oyimele uyisabe, because ukusaba yiko lokho kwenza ukuthi singafinyeleli ukuthola impendulo esizidingayo. Imagine how young I was at that time, and the fear I had instilled in me because of the family not understanding better. And I completed Benoni West, and then I went to Nashville Christian College. While that place, it just drove me up the walls. I was just caught in the rock and hard place. And that's where I gave my life to Christ. It was so embarrassing. I grew up in a church whereby I don't own a Bible. I read a Bible. The only person that will read a Bible is Unta. They read to us. So it was just crazy, I remember the first time they gave us Bibles and they told us to read them and open Mapasalume 23 what. I was raising my hand and they're like, yes, Dimple. And I was like, what page is Psalms? And they're like, no, just look in your Bible. I was like, what page? They're like, no, don't you know what song? And that's when I realized that I didn't have, because even on the first day, I remember our principal was reading to us from the book of Habakkuk, and it was just a laughter, Zimbabwe, although it was just, stupid comments that were being made among students. And that is when I gave my life to Christ for the first time. I'm just kidding, I just needed to do that. But that was the first time I gave my life to Christ, and I didn't know what I was saying, what it meant, and I was just doing it. And I decided to teach myself the word of God, and I became those students that would hold cell groups. I became that student. I was not very much active because but then that is when I think everything hit a U-turn. That is when now the awakening began, and that is when I started I'm losing myself. I was triggered spiritually because I think there was a conflict of interest between my spirit and what was happening there, and what I was feeling and what I was seeing. In Nashville, I was more of that kid that was viewed by, other kids, because I would walk around. The school was not that much big. It was a private school. But manghamba, I would always feel like someone is following me. So benghamba ngati ngiyahlanya through the corridors. I remember sometimes they would make a joke and say, "Nang, yes, I'm beginning," and I would be walking. I wouldn't walk, like that. And still, empty passages, toilets, not my scene, And it carried on escalating, and I didn't know why. You understand that? Until then, I got sick around that time. I remember it was around Aprilish. I had to go remove my tonsils because my tonsils. So throughout most of my schooling life, you can see that if it's not being teased, there's something wrong with me, you know. And because remember, Epidoni Junior man figure, my face was like a map of Africa, like, you know, normally there's certain marks that are there within you. Mina, it was showing on my face. My face was too colored. You know, abanye kunezinto ezibakhona amabala osuke ubiwa wona awafani, but mina, that was that. And Nashville bese ngikhulakhulile bese ngiphonza bese ngifake i-eyebrow esikolweni yabangana manje bese ngikhuphula iskate kancane bese ngiyileyo ke leyo. And but ile nje yobuzizizi yokuhamba and then I kwafika lesimo lesi satanism, devil worshipping, and I was frustrated. To a point whereby there was a friend of mine, still is, just that we are hardly in contact. Shout out to you, Ntombi Khumalo. I love you, I still do. I would tell her everything. This is how I'm feeling. But we have never touched on that because we're in a Christian school, you know. Everything is every single day. So it was just hectic. And I remember my first attempt on trying to take my lives, I bought so many painkillers. I'm a Panadol. There was a shop that was close to us, and I consumed within the school, expecting myself to die, you know, because because I was losing focus eskolweni. I was not focusing as much as I needed to. I was very distracted. My eyesight was deteriorating, but I wasn't aware because I would be looking at the board. I did wear spectacles at Benoni West, I think, but and every time I go into that mall, I would go into Lakeside Mall, that particular bathroom that in that level that I don't like. I would go there, wash my hands, then leave the spectacles there twice. So my mom got tired, but my sight was deteriorating. The environment of the school now, sometimes it was not enabling, and at that time I was going through adolescent stage, and I took those pills, nothing happened. It was just, you know, it was just crazy. I was ready to die. I remember there was a day Ntombi came to see me, and I was like, I'm giving my life, you know, to the devil. You know, I am tired. I want to give a devil worshiper because I don't know what's going on with me. I'm tired of living. I don't want to live. I'm always fighting with my mom. It was just crazy. I was just this child onga tandegi. There was not much I was doing wrong ekaya, but I felt I didn't want to live anymore. Endlini ekhaya bahlezi bazofaka Irene WRS. There were these free channels that you'd get on DSTV. We would watch those, you know, people, you know, being, you know, delivered and all of that, and you know, you think the situation would help, but I was just a frustrated teenager, you know, because I couldn't find my place in the society and everyone rejected me, and I was not as open with my mom. Actually, I didn't, you know, at that time I didn't like her so much, and I was just in a dark space and I don't know what's going on with me. Your dark person always thinking of trying to take their life because I was frustrated. It is not nice seeing things and hearing things and feeling things. Then there was this one occasion, it was assembly kucula. I don't remember what happened, but ngakhala, and I walked out of that assembly and they had to call my parents, and all I remember seeing was just, you know, shadows of people around us in that assembly room. But well, my dad just took me home and nothing really was done in the light of that. And I then moved you know, thinking that, you know, I'm okay, but my studies were deteriorating until this day that one teacher annoyed me, and but he really annoyed me. I don't know what we were talking about, and I lost it. In that instant, I was always this quiet, calm person, eskolweni, but Mr. Dino, ngamudlavuza that day. Literally, I was screaming at him, but but it was so crazy because I was having an out-of-body experience. I couldn't even feel what was going on with me. But the only picture I had in my mind, picture, I was just roaring. I told him shit that day. And I could just feel this energy lift off my body and ngayohlala alone. And ever since that day, he looked at me differently. Whomst are you? He looked at me differently, and that was a wake-up call for me. Then ekhaya, the situation was not enabling. I hope you enjoyed that first installment. Catch us on the next installment of my story, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Thokozani, I am the advocate. See you on the next video.